blocker?
I don't know.
Just change that.
All right, we are live now. Just to let you all know. All right. All right, guys. You just let me know when you're ready to go, and I will let it begin.
Do we have the slide share? You know what we're going to do on the slide share?
I just randomly pulled up that one. That works for me if it's all right with everybody else.
All right. Do you want to control that then? When we
I just flip through. Let me try one thing. I don't know about the searching. So yeah, I want to try a couple of things. So I guess the idea here is sharing information. So you could do that either through Google Docs or through SlideShare. Let me check this. Okay.
Don't forget headphones.
Oh, you do not have any. Let's go grab mine.
All right. We are posting. Back to me. Sharing. Everywhere else. We're closing.
Okay, we'll do a quick demo of SlideShare. I don't think we're going to go real in depth because none of us is an expert at it.
Fun.
Just a way to show presentations. Okay, Google Glasses, that was kind of fun. Who's got the first education application for Google Glasses?
Oh.
I can go with something.
Okay, if you throw out one, I'm sure that'll start the ball rolling.
All right.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and do the SlideShare deal, and then Fred, you'll lead us in the Google Glasses, and then Corinne, do you want to lead us in the April Fool's stuff?
Yeah, I don't know which of those. I was not exactly here on April 1st. I didn't have any internet.
Well, I can do that one. I find these highly amusing, so I can talk about them.
Okay, good. I will screencast for you.
Okay. That'd be great. So yeah, I'm going to do the that deal, and we're going to throw in the UI update. Okay. Who threw in search improvements?
I have no clue, but I have a window open for it so I can screen share.
Well, let's skip it. If none of us added it in,
Well,
I don't know anything to talk about.
I don't know who broadcast last week, but did you go over the voice search already, or a couple of weeks ago?
No. I mean, you talked about Google Voice a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, this is great. It's a little Chrome add-on, and it allows you to, it puts a little mic in your search bar, and then you just talk into it, and it converts your voice to text and lets you search. So the possibilities for special ed are pretty vast.
Sure.
Okay, let's change that then to, well, because the search improvements has nothing to do with that. So we'll just do voice search.
Yeah, and I don't have it on this.
I think it's right now.
Were you talking about talk to type?
Maybe that's what it's called. I thought it was called voice search.
Yeah.
Well,
There's
I mean,
a great video that came over the GCT list. I think it was one of our own.
I can do it. It's just the microphone right here.
Oh yeah, it's already.
Google Educast.
Sorry, it's already there. Yeah, it's in your search bar automatically. I thought I had to install it, but.
Not so good.
yeah, there's also an extension called Talk to Type, and that puts the microphone in other text boxes.
Oh, nice. Okay, that must be what I'm thinking of. We're messing with it today or yesterday, a kid and I, but I couldn't remember what we'd done.
All right, guys, we got 1 minute.
Yeah.
I want to get going before Chris chimes in about 5. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's yeah, for the sake of time, let's skip the voice search for today.
Okay.
And then what do we got for the tool shout out? Oops.
We didn't have anything, so I just threw in the apps user groups.
That's good.
12.
That's good.
And talk about that people, because it's not the GCT listserv, but it is at least the ones that, one of them that I belong to is active. The other one is sort of dead.
John, where do you want to put did you already put your iTunes?
That's true. I could throw it in there. That's not really a Google product, though.
Or what about under classroom applications? That's pretty cool.
No one like my Death to Word article?
I did like that, actually.
I opened it, yeah, and started to read it, and I want to share it with some people, but I didn't read it all the way through, so.
I'd be happy if I never got another attachment, ever.
Under the classroom tips. Google in the classroom. It goes along with what Chris was going to share.
Sorry.
We can mention it and just how it's expanding.
Okay, great. Well, I'll let you lead that one out.
There's so much care and thought put into this show.
Well, unfortunately, the people who created the show notes are not actually here.
Well,
There's that.
I am here, but we
Who's
didn't
one?
do the show last week, so everything is still there. And
Chris put a lot in there, so.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, it looks like Diane threw a ton of stuff in here.
It was.
All right, Google Art Project.
Let's take out that from Diane.
Color palette.
Yeah.
Okay. I did watch this video on Xavier College Prep, which was kind of cool. We can include that. Trending view. I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about this.
That was kind of cool.
The one I just took out.
It's a neat little thing. There's not really anything to do with the classroom, but it's like that music video that came out a couple years ago where you put in your address, and when you type in your address, then Disney flies down, or it's Goofy walks down your street, rips off the roof of your house, picks you up, and takes you to Disneyland Paris or Disney World Paris. And so just the fact that your kids would be able to see where they lived by that, and that Goofy is right there looking in the house and stuff. It's just kind of a neat
I like it.
use of Google Maps.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Cool. We'll do that. For segment 4, classroom applications, pretty much everything we have in there is just related to helping people get more out of Google. I've seen Chad's videos, very good. Kern Kelly always has awesome tips. Chris is making videos in my course. So these are just ways to free training and instructional opportunities for teachers. So we'll just kind of lump all that together, and if you have other ones, you can toss them in there. So yeah, I guess I will screen share this one. There you go. All right, let's see how we can roll through this thing. Oops.
All right. You ready?
Yep.
Oh, thank God. That's great. All right. I'm going to do the bumpers, and then I will introduce Fred. Here we go.
All right.
You're watching the EdReach Network. This is the Google Educast, part of the EdReach Network, giving educators a voice, a big voice. You've reached episode 43 for April 12, 2012. And now, your host, Fred Delventhal.
All right. Welcome to the Google Educast, the show where we talk about educational applications for Google products, including news, tools, tips and tricks, and classroom applications. I'll be your host, and this week we have a great group, starting with...
I'm Corinne Richards.
Hi, everyone. John Sawash.
And hopefully we will be joined in just a little bit with a special report from Chris Butcher down under. But let's go ahead and tell everybody where they can join us right now. You can join us live at the Google Educast show right on Google Plus on-air hangout at tinyurl.com. Educast43. Anybody know if they need to put in that capital E on Educast?
Probably. Typically, they are case sensitive.
So it's capital E, D-U-C-A-S-T 43. tinyurl.com, Educast43. And go ahead and join us.
Yeah, be great.
But let's go right into the news since we have a pretty packed show today. And the first one is the Google Plus UI update.
Yes, I felt a little bit Facebooky this week.
Yeah.
Hopefully, this is not Google is not going to be changing the UI every 2 months like Facebook has. So, I don't know. I'm interested in your opinion. I thought the old interface was really good. I didn't really think it needed an upgrade. I was just kind of getting used to it, and they turned it up on me. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yep. Yeah, and what was the tag for the white space? The
hashtag.
Use of the white space.
Right, and a lot of people had suggestions for how to use it and everything. Yeah, it took a little bit. There are some neat things that you can have more control over your stuff, though, which I kind of like. With the menu bar on the left-hand side now as to deciding what you want to show and stuff, and if you just grab one of those things that you don't really use, if you're not a game player or whatever, and you drag that off, it goes down into more and doesn't, so you can actually make it less cluttered if you think it's already too cluttered, that kind of stuff. The images, when people share, I follow a lot of photographers, and just the display of images is 10 times better than what it was on Google+. Mm-hmm. Corinne, what do you have?
Yeah, I like it too. I like the pictures down the side, and then for some reason I can find the Hangout button more easily. It's it's less buried, I guess. So up there on the right corner. So.
Yep, right over here. Mm-hmm.
And there's more space between my chat, the people in my chat list as well. So kind of like that.
Yeah. So the one thing that everyone's complaining about is that as you scroll down, you notice there's this really thick, empty white space kind of off in the right third of the screen, which is kind of weird.
Prime real estate right there.
Yeah, but so the big deal is that Google, some of the top PMs for Google Plus have been hinting that there is something for that space. It's a super secret, super awesome thing that will be coming soon. No one knows exactly what that is, but supposedly there's something for it, and it's not advertising. They were quick to throw that in.
Okay. Yeah, there was some, when you click on your profile button, one of the things that I didn't, it took me a bit to, I don't know if I'm used to it or not, but when you look at somebody's profile, it tells you if you've graduated from a college or even dropped out of college. It says attended rather than graduated, and do you want to share your university and that kind of stuff? And I tried going in and editing. Yes, I can have it share. I can control which circles see that, but I'm also on my last one, like it showed my undergrad as opposed to where I got my master's. And so it's like, okay, how do I manipulate this so that it shows the latest school that I went to?
Right.
And I just couldn't figure that out. I didn't spend enough time on
Fred,
it.
that is a great mention, because one of the things that I do when people circle me, I always just mouse over their profile. Like if I hold over Dan's profile here, it usually pops up just a very brief snippet about that person, like right here. And I only circle those people back if there's something there that's a common interest with me. And I've always had a very tough time trying to figure out how Google puts that stuff there. Like, how do I decide what goes there? Because it's really key information, because I don't click through everybody's profile in order to take a look at it.
Yeah. And something really cool that I saw, and I don't know if it's been this way because I can't remember the last time I gave feedback on something, but I saw a lot of people posting about the white space, and I thought, well, great, you're posting in Google+, why don't you just give feedback? And under the cog/gear that's on Google+, you can give feedback. What was really cool was that it gave you the tool to capture some of the screen. So you could do a screen capture to describe what you were talking about. And then it gave you another blackout tool so that you could actually black out any personal information all within that. And I was like, wow, this is really kind of nice with the interactiveness of it. So see, they're right there on your screen. And the highlight tool is your tool to create a screen capture, and then the blackout tool, you can black out people's names and stuff.
Yeah, that is really neat. They'll get a lot better feedback from that for sure. It's very cool.
So
nice. Cool.
So I would take the feedback to mean that they are going to be making more changes, so you might be stuck with that, John.
Well,
very Facebook thing they've got here.
Go ahead.
In the profile views now have the, I don't know what you want to call it, the banner image, just like Facebook, which I was slightly annoyed at. So you've got your profile image, but then you have this banner image, which people are, stitching things together to have really cool panoramic profile images. Very Facebook-esque.
Or maybe it's just a new wave of social networking.
Perhaps. Perhaps. Update mine. It was very cool in the blog post from the PM for Google+. Several times he included the phrase, once you've upgraded to Google+, essentially implying that Facebook was a step down and you should upgrade your social network to Google+. I found that highly amusing. Very veiled jab at Facebook.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So, any other comments on the new UI on Google+?
We'll see. Hopefully they keep it for a while.
And interested to, yeah, that was something that I think shocked a lot of people, was there was no heads up like in other parts of Google, any other tools. They usually give you a warning that this change is coming, and it just took over yesterday. Was it yesterday?
Okay, a couple days ago.
Yeah, noticed it. Well, I noticed the changes in the Hangouts, and then the next time I opened Plus, I went, what the heck? This is not completely different, but pretty different. So
yeah. Well, one of the things that they did give a heads up on was they came out from Google X, announced their new project, Project Glass. And that looks really cool. There's been a lot of talk about that since that was announced. And let's see.
Yeah, I can throw up the screen share.
Yep, here, I got it. And just with almost like a partial half lens glasses that you wear, and then it shows you what a UI in front of your face that you can interact with based on whatever eye movement, voice commands, and so on, to do a lot of different things. And just looks really, really cool. And today they just updated on their Google Plus page here that a prototype for, because one of the questions people were asking, well, what about people with glasses? And they have a model here showing what it would look like possibly with glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I wanted to throw out to everyone is, can you see any uses for education or in the classroom? And I'll go ahead and start with one of the things that I thought of, because it showed facial recognition in the video, and I thought, well, what about if the teacher had this on at the front of the class or in class and was able to take attendance just by scanning the room without having to really do anything on a computer or anything else?
nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, another potential would be trips to the museum or any cultural exhibit. If all your students have these glasses on and the museum has appropriately tagged their exhibits with more information, that would be great. Museums are, many times what you're looking at has little meaning or importance to a student unless they understand the greater context in which it exists. So that would be a great way. A student looks at an art piece, sees a little icon. I don't know. What do? Click, blink,
Yeah.
and it pops open the Wikipedia article on the painter or something of that nature.
Yeah. Or any QR code, I would think. That of course they'd have a scanner on there.
Yep. Great. Yeah. People should definitely check out the video. It's a pretty cool video that demonstrates it. Well worth a couple of minutes of your time. Highly experimental, I would say, though. I wouldn't expect these to pop up in your Best Buy anytime soon.
All right. And next up after Project Glass is a little fun with April Fool's Day jokes.
I find Google's April Fool's Day jokes highly amusing. I look out for them every year. I think I probably spent an hour searching through all of their products trying to find these things. Pretty hilarious. Corinne's got the 8-bit Google Maps. This one was kind of weird because they launched it a few days before April 1st. But back to your Nintendo, the original Nintendo days, or Zelda. Those Zelda fans will appreciate this. You can zoom down, and they have hid tons of Easter eggs inside these maps. They've probably found a lot of them, but if you zoom in on certain areas, you can find all kinds of crazy stuff, which is kind of fun. Probably their most prominent April Fool's joke was the self-driving race car, and this was a pretty elaborate prank because they actually Google didn't announce it; they had NASCAR announce it. And actually, if you go to the NASCAR website, their front page had this fake sports reports announcing Google's new NASCAR team and its self-driving, and even top brass at Google got involved. Larry Page is the one driving that car. And then they had some hilarious interviews with famous NASCAR drivers like Jeff Gordon saying how, this is really going to revolutionize racing because, driving was just taking up a lot of my time, and I just didn't have time to do all the other things I needed to do, so this will really free me up. That was pretty funny. Probably the two best pranks they had. Gmail Tap was pretty funny. They were supposedly bringing back Morse code, and so they replaced the keyboard with a dot and a dash. And evidently, Google actually does employ one of the great grandson of Samuel Morse, who invented Morse code, and so he's featured in the video, and just saying, just a dash and a dot, and that's all you need. Pretty funny. Reminded me of a story that The Onion did a couple years ago, saying that Apple was going to completely eliminate the keyboards from all of their MacBooks in favor of a giant click wheel, because the click wheel is just so much easier to use than all those keys. So, pretty funny.
Good stuff.
Yeah, as you said, they always have good ones, and I remember. See, April Fool's hasn't fallen on a school day in a couple years. The one year, though, I sent out the April Fool's joke to my staff, and it was where they were going to allow you to print all of your Gmail. And teachers came to me and said, "They are?" Like, they were going to order it, and I was like, "Oh, no."
Well, that reminds me, we don't have on our list. My favorite one of all was the YouTube DVD collection. That was the best one. You can purchase the entire collection, the entire YouTube collection on DVD. It's delivered in like 150 moving trucks. Yes. That's a great video, and you get a new truck every week. That was a very funny one. I forgot about that one. That's right.
All right. I do want to give a shout out to Jen Wagner. Hi, Jen, who is watching us right now. So.
Yeah, I saw her. She's tweeting us out.
Cool. All right. And so let's go to the tool shout out. So let's take a look at a couple different tools. This week we're going to be taking a look at the user group, or user groups for education. So let me get my screen up here. And some of you may not know, if you are using Google in your school district or school for Google Apps for Education, that there are actually K-12 apps regional groups that you can join to get help and to help others. You might have already had that problem and figured it out, or just to share different ideas and things. Right now there's a group for California, Central, East, Great Lakes, Illinois, and Illinois is just so excellent at using Google Apps that they have their own group. South, Texas again, along with Illinois and California, and also the West Coast. And I actually belong to the East and to the South because of the states that I live in and work in are in two different groups. And one is very active, the other one is not. So we could actually get some users into the groups to help get them more active. But
Fred, do your groups have face-to-face meetings at all?
You know, not that I can remember seeing any announcements for.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ours have been totally online as well, but it would be nice to get together, once a year or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right,
I'm one of the managers of the Midwest group. See Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, and we have Pennsylvania in there too. Yeah, ours is okay. It's not terribly active. There's two groups. Like when you come and sign up, you get membership to two groups. You get membership to your specific regions group, which is a great place to ask questions, get feedback, ideas, share resources, lesson plans, things like that. But you also get access to the technical forum, and the technical forum is very, very active. Because there are a lot of technical questions that can be pretty obscure, everybody is in the same technical forum, all 50 states, and so you can throw any question in there, and there will be someone who knows the answer to it, so it's extremely valuable. The regional groups are more for meetups and sharing resources within your states. And I know in the Midwest it's actually been pretty good. Ohio is just getting ready to have a regional conference focused on Google. I think it's coming up at the end of April. Let's see, Michigan is having one. I'm coordinating that one in October, so ours is in the fall. So there are some. I think Indiana is trying to put some plans in place for that as well. So stuff's definitely happening. But a great way to connect with other people who are using Google in the classroom, hear what they're doing, and get free help and advice.
Yeah, and check out all the different tabs that they have. They have resources, a calendar, and everything else. Mm-hmm. Next up, we're going to talk a little bit about the Google Arts project. And let me just, getting lost in all these tabs.
We got lots going on.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, the art project is cool. It's been around for a while, but fairly limited. Essentially, they've taken a very, very high-resolution imagery of certain paintings, and you can dive in and view it in extremely close-up detail, so you don't actually have to go to the museum. You can look at some famous paintings, which is very, very neat. And it looks like now they're adding more than just painting. They've got sculptures, even some street graffiti as well. And you can zoom in down to the brush stroke. It's pretty sweet. I know most recently and they do this using the Street View image technology. So the same cameras that go and do the Street View, they'll go through the art gallery, and you can click on the paintings and zoom right into them, which is pretty cool. So they just went through the White House, and one of the paintings that they took high res imagery of was the famous painting of John F. Kennedy. So you can zoom in really, really close on that and really get a good feel for that painting. Arguably even a better feel than if you were really there, because I don't even think they'd let you get that close.
No.
Right, yeah, good point.
So Google really does have something for all disciplines, whether you're math, science, or the arts.
Yeah, the art project, I was glad that didn't go away with some of the changes that when Google's kind of narrowing their offerings, I guess, a little bit. This was one that didn't go away, so I was grateful.
Yeah. So it looks like right now they've got 151 museums in over 40 countries, so quite a bit there to explore.
All right, and we'll be sharing a link to the blog post about that into the show notes. And we are on to segment 3, tips and tricks. And we have one on easier access to organize, or it's easier to organize files in Google Docs. And that talks about clarifying about how Google calls it a collection versus a folder, and so on, but just dragging and dropping and that kind of stuff. So
this is one of the biggest complaints that teachers have in using Google Docs in a large scale with lots of students, especially anybody who's trying to go paperless or receive documents from students. Most of it, in my opinion, has to do with just the mind shift that is required moving from Microsoft Office, which is a very analog, solitary program, to Google Docs, which is highly collaborative. And it's just such a big shift. It really kind of throws people for a while. Teachers are always like, oh my goodness, stuff is appearing in my document collection, and I don't own it, I don't know what it is, and I don't know what to do with it, and I don't know how to find anything. So the more organized that docs collection can get, and the more options there are for organizing it, it would be great. And terminology is one of my pet peeves with Google, because between Gmail and Docs and Google+, you've got, it basically does all the same stuff, but it's called by 3 different names. Right. You've got circles in Google+, you've got tags in Gmail, and you've got collections in Google Docs. Very confusing. So
yeah.
They do the exact same thing, but...
And what this blog post covers is if you hover over a collection, the icon of a collection, it will actually just say folders. Mm-hmm. To help people with that sort of translation from Google speak to normal speak.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. Our director is directing us to look at this Slate article. So we're going to take a look at, let me screen share here. And there is and it again covers, it doesn't really get in that much to Google Docs, but it is a call for death to Word. It's time to give up on Microsoft's word processor. And there's our old friend Clippy in the picture. But it's a really good article. I think most people get a kick out of it, and I think a lot of people will agree, or maybe not. If you still like Word and insist on its usefulness, then he does finish the article with a couple of uses that he uses it with his son. So using it with a 4-year-old. So I thought that was kind of good. All right.
I was forced to use Microsoft Word for an extended period of time last week on a project that I was working on, and it was a miserable experience. I have been exclusively Google Docs for probably over a year now. Like, literally, I never open Microsoft Office at all. I don't know. I just, not having to email files back and forth has been such a relief, and having to do so just illustrates to me, because we're like, oh, what version do you have? Oh, no, you got to delete that one, add this one. Just incredibly confusing. So I'm all for death to Word.
Yeah, I begged someone this week, we're writing a grant, and I said, please do not attach it. You must upload it. So, yes. And I worked at Publisher today for the first time in years, and I wanted to set myself on fire.
Corinne, you bring up a good point, though, because Publisher is the only program I do use, because there is no good substitute.
There's no desktop publishing. Wow. Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, people have suggested to use Google Draw, but I'm sorry, it's just...
Yeah, it's not the same.
You can't do a brochure or a newsletter in Google Draw. It's just not going to happen. And
yeah, but just like in the Slate article, there's so much there. I don't need that much stuff, and my kids don't need that much stuff. So it's good for some things, but man, I don't know that I want quite that many choices. It's overwhelming.
I'm in an interesting position. I am rewriting our computer apps course for my school, and which currently right now is completely Microsoft Office centric. I mean, that's basically all they do. And so it's an interesting position, because I'm a huge Google Docs fan, and I'm like, oh, well, we'll just replace it with Office with Docs. But really, I mean, what we should be teaching is how to use Office productivity tools. Start with the fundamental principles, not focus on the platform because most of it is transferable. I mean, you know, doing indents and bullets and numbered lists is the same in docs, in Word, in you know, number or pages, in OpenOffice. You know, we should equip our students to do whatever. I think docs is the best, but you know, people should use whatever they can be most productive in.
Right.
Absolutely.
Teach word processing, not the program.
Teach ideas.
Well,
Applications. Yeah.
And teachers always, I have teachers that are a little bit resistant to switching to Google Docs, and they go, but this is what jobs use, and this is, we need to prepare them for the real world. And so I pull up the list of all the universities that are using Google Docs. I pull up the government agencies because that's pretty much where these kids, our kids at our school, are all, their parents are government workers, and show the agencies that are now switching to Google Docs and stuff. And I say, and your point is what? And so it's sort of, the more that it's adopted, the harder it is for them to, and once, the thing is, once they do start using it, they really do love it. And it's just the ones that just get so frustrated, they just say, I won't use it, kind of thing. So, and I'm ready for, when, now I have 2 different versions of Microsoft Office in my school, where the administrator side is on 2010, and the teachers are all still on 2003. And so we have ribbons, which I have no experience with what a ribbon is or anything like that, so I'm guessing at trying to help somebody do something in 2010, and then I get totally lost in 2003 or whatever because I can't remember that one either, so it's just a nightmare. But all right, Anna, let's go on to a happier topic. There was a video shared out on Google Plus about Google Plus Hangouts, which we're using right now. But this was a way that it came to save the day in a school. And let me see if I can pull up that screen.
Yeah, it was a cool video. I watched it. Great use for Google Plus in the classroom. Would be great if we could actually use this in the classroom, Google. We'd love to in K-12. Please turn it on. But basically, a teacher at Xavier University, it's a college prep school, and she's using. She was ill or something, and this was an AP course, and she used Google Plus to continue communicating with her students, even though she was out of the classroom. So just, illustrates continuation of learning, certainly has distance learning potential. Great potential. I'm really excited, looking forward to this coming down to K-12 so that we can use it more effectively. Because right now, you have to have a regular Gmail account in order to do a Hangout.
Yeah, we're testing this with SpeechPath right now to see if we can deliver speech services over distance with Google Plus. So it's exciting. But we need to push it down.
It's pretty amazing. I run an online school, fully online school, and I have looked at many different video conferencing solutions, from Illuminate to, well, there's tons of them I've looked at, and by far Google Plus is the easiest to use, the most reliable, and it has the most features. It's only what, 6 months old? So I mean, getting into Google Plus just for the Hangout is well worth your time. By far, this totally blows everything else out of the water.
All right, and We also have Google Maps Mania, and this comes from the Google Maps Mania blog, and it's just neat, not really educational, but it's just kind of cool. If you get a chance to do this, you go to the website that they link to on this blog post, Giant Steps Disney, and it asks you to put in your street address. And I don't want to really give it away, do I? What happens?
People should try it out.
Yes, but let's just say that if you have kids, or even if you just are a big Disney fan, you'll be amazed when Disney comes to your house. All right? And so that's just a neat little trick that we found and wanted to share with you. So visit Giant Steps Disney. And that we are moving on.
Goofy.
Right. And next up is
Segment 4 already.
Segment 4, Classroom Applications. And this was shared out by Kern Kelly, and he did a great blog post on his blog, The Tech Curve. All of his stuff is really always great, and he did a blog post on step-by-step managing Google Docs in the classroom, which I can't wait to get my teachers into this to take a look.
Yeah, Kern, if you are not connected with Kern, you need to do that immediately. Kern, he does not post a lot, but I will tell you everything he posts in his blog is just awesome. He has the coolest tricks, tips, step-by-step instructions that are just incredibly practical, time-saving. Definitely need to connect with him. And this gets back, Fred and Corinne, to our earlier discussion regarding Google Docs and the question of how do I organize my files and share them with lots of students and manage that. And so Kern is sharing his best practices, and he does this with a lot of students and a lot of teachers. So no one is better to talk authoritatively about it than him. So definitely you want to check that out. The post is available through the show notes.
Perfect. I know that's one of the most overwhelming things about first jumping on Google Docs. And yeah, every teacher seems to say, how do I organize all this stuff? So something really, really step-by-step is a good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and today for segment 4 of our show, we're really featuring 4 educational resources for teachers, educators who want to get deeper into Google in the classroom. Kern's a great person to follow. Kern posts some pretty advanced stuff. He's kind of power user type stuff. The screen I'm sharing right now, this is another Google certified teacher, Chad Kafka, and he has put together a collection of videos on how to do various things in Google Docs and all kinds of different stuff. And this would probably be a more appropriate place for a beginner to start, like right here. Here's a short video on Google Docs, how to make a collection or a folder. I mean, that's one of the prerequisite steps to doing anything with students. So Chad's got, looks like he's got about 31 videos in here. Great list of stuff that you can gleans from short little snippets, 2-3 minutes long, that won't take you much time. It'll really get started.
And Chad, doesn't Chad do a podcast or something too? Isn't he?
I don't know if Chad does. Chad gets around.
Yes, he's on the EdReach network. He's on the Mobile Reach podcast, and does a great job with the people on that podcast. And don't forget to listen to the other podcasts on the EdReach network, and headed or hosted by a lot of great people. But we also have another share from another resource to help your teachers and all learn more about Google Docs, and that one is by somebody who is sometimes on this show as a host, and that's Chris Betcher down in Australia. And
Yeah, Chris has got another collection of videos. He's got about 14. Again, just screencasts of how to do various things in Google. It looks like he's got a lot of Gmail stuff in here. So if you're a Gmail user, that might be cool. How to set up your signature, how to delete email, which is actually a little trickier than you might think. Lots of tips like that, so you can check out Chad's videos or Chris's videos. They're also in the show notes. And then one other resource for you, and this one's brand new. I'm very excited about this. I also have a collection of video tutorials related to Google Docs. Those have been posted both on YouTube and also on iTunes through the Michigan, it's called the MI Learning channel in iTunes UK12. And they were pretty popular, but after the recent update to Apple's iOS, when they switched over to iOS 5, one of the things they added was a specific app for iTunes U, which would allow you to not just download podcasts, which you've been able to do for a long, long time, but to actually develop a course that contains videos, documents, applications, web links. And so instead of just having this random collection of videos that you watch in any random order, it's a sequential, ordered course that guides you through a topic. And primarily right now, it's mostly higher ed postings, a lot of stuff from MIT and Stanford, as you could probably expect. But I've put together a Google in the Classroom course. And this is a course for beginners. This is kind of Google 101 and walks people through from the very beginning how to create a Google account, what is Google Docs, what's different about it. I've got a screencast on each of the products of Google Docs, Docs, spreadsheets, calendars, or presentation, etc. So I go through the 4 basic parts of Google Apps, Gmail, Calendar, Docs, and Sites. Real brief introduction, and then I've tried to link out to a lot of people who are using these products in the classroom and showing some of the cool things that they're doing with them. So this is available. It's free. You need to download the iTunes U app, which kind of looks like iBooks. And if you just search in the store for Google in the Classroom or my last name, you should be able to find it. And I'd be interested in your feedback. My email and Twitter ID are in there, and please let me know if you find that helpful. And if it's popular, I might follow up with a more advanced 102 Google Tools.
And how much do people have to pay for that in the App Store?
100% free. Yep.
No! Really?
It can't be.
4 easy payments of $0. Yeah, the iTunes U app is free, and that will allow you to download any of the courses that you can find. It's pretty sparse right now, but I think it'll populate pretty quickly now that people can.
Good stuff. Thanks, John.
Yeah, and I've already seen good feedback in the listserv and everything else, so thank you for doing that. And I have some teachers that are podcast friendly and will definitely benefit from that. So
yes.
I wish there was a way that I could get it to people who don't have, it only works if you have an iPad or an iPhone. Right now it doesn't even work if you have a Mac. You have to have some iOS device. So that's the downside. I'll have to figure out a way to get that content over to PC users.
All right. We had one more, or did we cancel the voice search?
Oh, we did take it off.
Okay.
All right. Go ahead. Why don't you talk about it?
Okay. Yeah. So I don't know if people have seen it. It's not really new, but there's a voice search in Google, and I will cast it. So if you look at my little search bar here, I have this microphone, and when I speak into the microphone, it will convert my voice to text. So there it is.
Great.
And it does a very good job.
I can just hit search. Thank you very much. So this, I actually watched a video on this, I don't know when it was, maybe a week ago. Great things can be done with special ed students. So we've been experimenting a lot with this. Obviously, it gets the kid to speak more fluently because they can see, you know, what they're saying and how Google kind of converts that to text. And it's been great to get the kids, you know, to say, okay, you're going to have to say that more clearly, or do you see how it picks up your H's and things like that. And then, of course, it's useful because it's a quick way for them to do a really effective search. So the potential is huge.
Yeah, it's also good for elementary kids who can't type.
Yes.
It's very difficult to use a lot of computing technology with students who it takes them, 20 minutes to type in a URL.
Yeah, to get to get a couple of key terms. I'm excited to see, I'm using Google Custom Search with a third grade teacher next week, and I'm excited to see if it will work within kind of that realm as well. We'll try it a couple different ways, but I think it, like I said, it holds huge potential.
One of the interesting things, kind of a little insight to Google here, if you remember a couple years ago, Google launched a free 411 service where you could dial this 800 number and they would look things up for you on your phone. And the reason they did that was to mine the voice searches and syntax to improve their voice algorithm. Well, they canceled 411 and people were mad, but then they launched Google Voice. And the big thing about Google Voice was it was transcribing voicemails into an email. And at first it was horrendous. It was so bad. But it got steadily better, and what they've done is they have integrated that algorithm, which they've worked on and improved through 411, through Google Voice, into this voice to search. And so I was very impressed, Corinne, by its ability to pick up and translate that entire sentence perfectly.
Yeah.
That never would have been done even a year ago. So that's, can see the progress being made technology-wise.
Yeah, well, and the kid that I worked with this week had he doesn't have a serious speech impediment, but enough, and he also has Asperger's, so he wasn't, making eye contact with me, and I kept saying, you have to get it close to your mouth, but it did a great job with everything he said.
Cool.
And so, yeah, it was impressive.
And I bet he enjoyed doing it, too.
He loved it, yes.
That's a great application.
Yeah, the Chromebook was his best friend.
Now, it is probably worth mentioning that this feature comes native if you're using Google Chrome. If you're using another web browser, I believe there's a plugin that you'll have to install in order to get it to work. But I think it will work. You just have to download and install that.
Yeah, well, wait, there's also, since you only get the microphone in the Google search box, I did find this tool in the Google Chrome web store, and it's free, but it's called Talk to Type, and it actually puts the microphone then in other text boxes, so that if you're on a form or something else, you can actually get the microphone and click it and speak, and it will translate your text that way.
Cool.
So
that's neat. I'm doing a Chromebook workshop tomorrow. I'm going to share that one. That's fun.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what comes next.
Right. I mean, it just keeps on getting better.
Yeah.
So, all right.
We got a few shout-outs here at the end. Fred, we got some events coming up. What's going on in California?
California, as we've been saying, is the California Google Apps for Education Summit coming up in...
Yep, looks like July 12th and 13th, so over the summer.
Right. And our own
West Coaster.
Sean Williams is going to be presenting, as well as a lot of great other presenters there.
In fact, I think one of the good things... End of billing period, does that mean it ends on the 14th, or the 14th is the start of a new one?
And here we have Chris.
Chris Betcher.
Hey. Hey, Fred.
Chris,
How you doing?
just tell us what's going on down under.
Wow, can you guys hear me okay? I'm actually going out over my 3G connection on the phone via the computer, so it's a bit jerry-rigged.
We can hear you great. Just fine.
Fantastic.
So where are you?
Fantastic. I'm at the Sydney University, the School of Information Technology, and these guys are running a 2-day workshop here called Computer Science for High Schools. It's been run by the Information Technology Department here. Google is a major sponsor, and so we had some Googlers in yesterday talking about developing the PageRank algorithm. They were telling us about what it's like to work at Google.
Did they give you the secret recipe?
We got some secrets. Actually, I have to say one of the guys fired up his docs screen on the projector, and I don't think he was supposed to do it, but I noticed that he had G Drive running. So the rumours about G Drive, they can't be far off because this guy was running it.
Well,
he closed his browser pretty quick when I pointed it out.
G Drive is one of the worst kept secrets ever, but.
But it's been I guess it's been a secret for so long. I was curious to actually see it running.
Cool, nice.
So yeah, no, it's been really good. And so we just had a session here from James Curran, who's the one of the professors here, associate professors at the school, and he was talking about machine learning and using algorithmic approaches to linguistics and language, which was pretty interesting. A lot of good stuff we can take back to school and try and get our head around.
Yeah. Now, Chris, I know that Google is really big on trying to get high school students involved in computer science because Google is having a very difficult time finding qualified and interested people to work on their products. What are they saying? How do we encourage high schoolers to get into STEM?
Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna call in someone here to help give you a really good answer to that.
Hey,
Nikki, have you got a second? Would you like to join us? Yeah, it's Hangout. Oh, do you want to join us on Hangout? Oh, actually, just come down here and talk to the guys. Just be easier. So this is Nikki Buckland, right? Ringland, sorry. And Nikki's doing a PhD here at the uni in computer science. And Nikki has a particular interest in getting girls involved in IT.
Very cool.
The only problem is you've got the headphones.
I'm going to pass you over.
Oh, okay, cool.
So,
oh, you could.
And also Georgina behind here. So these two guys are a real part of the outreach of getting girls involved in tech. So I'll let you guys talk.
Yeah, well,
You want to
Nikki,
grab one? Okay. Hello?
hey, nice to meet you.
Hey.
We're streaming live around the world, so you have an audience of millions, or at least 4 people. But we're talking, Google and education, and we're wondering, what tips would you have for getting students involved in STEM and computer science type careers?
Well, I think the best thing that you can do is actually give them a hands-on experience with some form of IT that people are really passionate about. So we run a bunch of things where we get, so we run a girls programming network where we get girls in from all over Sydney, and we give them really engaging experiences just for a day with what programming can actually involve and some of the really cool stuff you can do. If they have this sort of really engaging experience and they go home and they think, oh, actually that was kind of fun. But so here we don't have much experience with that sort of thing at schools, and really getting them outside of their comfort zone and outside of the concept that IT is all Excel spreadsheets and typing, and that's really what it is, and actually say, okay, what we're going to do today is take apart a computer and then put it back together and it still works. Or we're going to make smartphone applications, or we've done a bunch of different things. We went out to Mudgee last week, which is a rural town in Australia, and we had 80 high school girls who half of whom had volunteered and the other half had been volunteered to participate in this one-day workshop where we made a game in Pygame, and they all really loved it, even the kids who were not who had been volunteered for this program. But the fact that they had no knowledge coming in, but we had a bunch of tutors out there who could help them get over the stumbling blocks of frustrating syntax errors and actually get beyond that into, this is really cool, I'm creating something and I'm manipulating something and it's awesome. And they went home and got excited, and they've been emailing me ever since saying,
That's fun.
what do I do now? How do I fix stuff?
Very cool. So.
But it's really, like, it's a really hard ask because obviously it's a lot of work to drive 4 hours to go and talk to 80 girls. It's totally worth it, but it's hard to do for all of Australia, for all of any other place. Yeah, I really think it's a case of engaging girls in really exciting aspects of IT in new and innovative ideas, and getting people who are really passionate about what it is to come out there and give them an engaging experience.
Right. Yeah, that's so true. Nothing, there's nothing more boring than doing math problems out of a workbook, and nothing better than, actually applying the math or, whatever you've learned in a real-life application, whether it's developing an app or, testing circuits, so something like that. So cool. So, Nikki, where are you at? What university?
So I'm at Sydney University.
Okay. Okay, good. And so are you in computer science department or are you in education?
I'm in computer science. I'm a computer science PhD student.
Okay.
I do research in computational linguistics, which is cool because I can go out to a classroom and say, well, everyone understands English. Let's create a little chatbot that automatically responds to you online, and we can do that in a couple of hours, and the kids actually get to interact with something that they feel like they've created.
That's very cool.
And they understand a bit of the science behind it, and they feel really, really engaged with it because they can understand it.
Sure. Cool. Nice. Well, we were just discussing the Google Voice Search, which has some linguistic applications to it as well. So neat. Well, thanks so much. It's awesome to meet you, and thanks for sharing your tips.
And
those are great practical ways to engage girls in computer science. We appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care.
I'll pass you back.
Thanks, Nick.
Okay. Chris?
Yes, sir.
Chris, thanks for hooking us up there. That was great.
That's all right. No problem at all.
Live reporting.
Yeah. I'm trying to negotiate with the uni here to host the Google Summit. I've been talking to the guys down at Q about running a Google Summit, the first one in Australia. And I floated it past James, who runs the place here, and he was pretty keen to host it. So we might even be running one of those in January.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, Chris, thanks for being our live reporter on site. We're going to wrap up the show, but anything else to report down under?
No. I just thought I'd pop in. I would have liked to have been part of the show today, but
you were.
like I'm in this.
Oh, you were.
You were a valuable contribution there.
And stuff, yeah.
No worries. Well, hopefully catch you guys next week.
Great.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
Adios.
Chris.
Bye.
Bye.
Awesome.
All right, just to finish up here, we want to give a shout out also to the Midwest Summit is coming up in November. And John, you had the...
Yeah, I'm also chairing Google. Michigan is having a regional meetup at the My Google conference. It's going to be in October. I'll have information, website, and sign-up information on that shortly, probably in the next few weeks. But you can put that on your calendar, October 19th. We're looking for presenters if you're interested.
And one that's just a little bit closer on the calendar that I think everybody needs to put on their calendar right now after the show is the Google Education On-Air Conference, which is going to take conferences to a different level of using on-air Hangouts and having it be a conference type setting. And it happens on May 2nd, and they've placed it in a pretty big window of 12 o'clock noon Eastern Time to 10 p.m. In the evening. And their list of presenters is long and varied and very talented. So I would definitely check out the site that we'll have in the show notes, and also take a look at this list. And I think, did I see something where there were different strands that people could watch? Yeah, hot topics in educational technology, communicate, connect, and share, Google Apps, harnessing the power of the web, instructional assessment tools, and more. So definitely check that out.
Encourage teachers. This will be great. Learning to learn. Good networking. Yeah.
And I mean, what a great tool to interact with too. So, all right. So that will do it for us this week. Make sure to check out Wilderness Classroom Field Report. I listened to the first episode. It was great. Very interesting what they're doing. It's the newest podcast on the EdReach Network, Mondays at 7 a.m. Eastern Time with Dave and Amy Freeman. So check that out. It's almost something that you could share in the classroom with your kids. But that will do it for this week in the Google Educast show. Big thanks to Corinne and John.
My pleasure. Glad to be here.
Spinning Globe, or the Spinning Cube. So follow us at EdReach. Follow at EdReach on Twitter, as well as like our Facebook page at facebook.com/EdReach. It's a great way to get all the latest blog posts, podcasts, and news coming out of EdReach. You can always shoot us an email at googleeducast@edreachus. If you want to keep another way to keep up on things, they have the new newsletter that you can sign up, and it just comes out and gives you updates on all the different podcasts so that you can catch up on those if you want to get it in your email, which is at the web address is edreach.us/newsletter. Once again, that's edreach.us/newsletter. Thanks again for joining us. Continue the conversation at edreach.us or .us. We're not necessarily focused on the United States since we just had a trip down under. So we'll see you next week.
Great. Thanks. Take care,
Great.
everybody.
Thank you.
You're watching the EdReach Network. Hooray! Good job. Wow, that was fun. Good job, guys. Good energy
So,
in the end.
like 3 times I got a little ding in my earpiece, and across the top it said exit, server reconnect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got it too, and I was hosting it. I didn't, not this show, but on other shows, I've received that message, and the Hangout ends up coming out okay.
All right. Cool.
All right. Hey, thank you very much. You guys have a good night.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Dan. Corinne, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too. We'll see you soon.
Fred,
All right.
nice hanging out again.
Yep.
Great.
John,
Take
you
care.
going to be back on more regularly?
I'd like to.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I'm going to be having a baby here pretty soon, like in May, so I don't know if that's going to be good or bad in terms of my availability. But
Okay.
number 3 will be here May 1st or sooner.
Awesome.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Dan, good to see you.
Posted. Thanks, guys.
Take
All
care.
right.
Good night.
Good night.